Want to make an Afghan one block at a time? Join me and we can make one together. Thank you for joining me on the journey to make an Afghan together block by block. This video series takes 16 different Afghan squares, 3 of each of the same square, but each square of those 3 are a different shade of gray. You can pick your own colors, but I have the links to the 3 grays that I use down below. In the end, I will show you how to join the squares and finish off your Afghan. In just a few short weeks, we will have a completed Afghan. I want to make sure I give credit. The blocks are all a modification and a different version of patterns that I got from this pattern that I had since 1997. So I don't believe it's in print anymore, but I had to make sure credit was given to the original designer. This Afghan square is called the ripple stitch. So you have your yarn and you need to start with a slip knot. I put it over my index finger and thumb, give it a twist and draw up your yarn. And I have my size J crochet hook. So for this one, we start with chaining 26 chains very loosely. So count 26 really loose chains. So we start this pattern in the second chain from the hook. So there's number 1 and there is number 2. So we're going to start with a single crochet and 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So here is, we're going to insert for a single crochet. So there's 1. Here's number 2. I like to go under both of the parts of the chain. So we have 2 pieces of thread right there. So for a single crochet, you just put it in and draw back your yarn and draw through both on the hook. Then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the same spot. A double crochet is you loop over 1. We're going to go back in that same hole and draw back your yarn, draw through 2 on your hook, and draw through 2 on your hook. Do 1 more double crochet in that same hole, draw through 2, and draw through 2. So in the second one from your hook, you have put a single crochet and 2 double crochets. We're going to skip 2 chains, so there's 1 and 2, so we're going to leave those empty. And in the third one, we're going to do the same exact thing. Single crochet and 2 double crochets in that same hole, in that same chain. We're going to skip 2. So here is 1, 2, and we're going to go in the third one, single crochet, and 2 double crochets. And complete your row. 1, 2, and 1 single crochet, 2 double crochet. I am down now to the last 3 chains, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip 2 just as you've done, but in the last one you're just going to put 1 single crochet. So there's what you have at the end of row 1. Now simply chain 1, turn your project, and we are going to, in the very first single crochet, you're going to do the same exact rhythm. So here's our first single crochet. We're going to put 1 single crochet, 2 double crochet. In the next single crochet, you're going to do the same thing. So remember, when you're heading this direction, it was single crochet, 2 double. So that'll be a good indicator to be able to help you find the single crochet. It's, for one, it's the shorter of the 2 stitches, but just go over a little bit and do a single crochet in the top of the other single crochet and 2 double crochets. So you're doing the same thing as you did on the chain. On the chain, remember, we skipped 2. On this, you're skipping 2 double crochets and we're going to that single crochet. So skip the 2 and single crochet and 2 double. Skip the 2 double crochet, jump right over to the other single, and we do 1 single and 2 double. Okay, we're down to the last little group of stitches here. Skip the 2 and just do 1 single crochet in that first single crochet. So here you are visually at the end of your second row. We have it nice and square on each end. You've ended with a single crochet, chain 1, and do the same 3-stitch combination in that very first single crochet you just finished. So single crochet, 2 doubles. And continue across, skip the 2, and go to that single crochet. And that is all there is to the ripple stitch pattern. Continue this until your piece is square. So I'll come back when I get a little further to help you determine the right distance, and then we'll finish off with a border. When you get close to it visually being a square, take one corner and fold it up, and we want to have your edge of your triangle to be close to even. It won't be exact, but this you can see we're about 1 row off. So when you get down to where it's close to a square, do your measurement, and then we're going to finish here with 1 last row, and then we'll measure it again. Ending with the single crochet in the top of that one. So now let's see what we have on our measurement. Okay, let's test that. You know, and it looks like I can still do 1 more row. Let's see what the measurements show up. This is measuring at 6.5 by 6. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more row because we want it to be as square as possible. Okay, looks fantastic. So there you have the ripple stitch, and now we're ready to put the edging on the square. To add a border on your squares, with the same color, we are going to do 1 border of single crochets, and then we are going to switch to the color that you have chose to be your joining color. And in my case, my joining color is the light gray. So your first row around is the color of your square. Then we're going to finish it off, and we're going to go join in with the color that you chose as your main color, I should say. So I have just completed the last stitch on this square. All squares are going to be a little bit different, but the process is the same. So you finish your last stitch, you're going to chain 1. In that last corner there, you're going to put 3 single crochets. Now we are going down the end of your rows, and we need to have 25 single crochets between this corner and the next corner. So you just space them out evenly, and each time I can promise you I've ripped them out probably 50% of the time, because each one is just a little different. So I'm just going to show you my process. So that's our corner, and now you just start doing single crochets and count as you go. So there's 1, 2, I'm going to put another one in that hole. There's 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put another one in that hole. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9 in the same hole, 10, and 11, 12. On 12 to 13-ish, you should be close to halfway, and it looks like we're pretty close. So that was 12, 13, 24 in the same hole, and in this last hole we'll go number 25. Now we're up to the corner, and in that corner you're going to put 3 single crochets. 1, oh, there we go, 2, and 3. So now we have turned and we're going to go down this side. The beginning tail, I have wove it through this edge of the square, so it will now get caught into our single crochet. So we've done 3, and now we do the same process, 25 on this side. Okay, this is number 25 on my last side. So we have each of the sides now have single crochets, and at this point you just join with a slip stitch in that first single crochet that you started with. So just stick, there you go, I got it through both of the pieces of that single crochet, and a slip stitch is you just pull it through and pull it through. I'm going to cut my thread and then just pull through your string. And now at this point, so that I can catch that tail in my stitching, I feed it through that last edge. Now take your main color, which is my light color, and we are going to join it in the corner. Pick any of the corners, but just pick the middle of the 3 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3. So in the center one, insert your hook and draw up your yarn. Chain 1, and in that same stitch, you're going to put 3 single crochets. Now we go on each side, but instead of 25 in between, we need to have 27. And this time it's a little bit easier because you're following the stitches from down below. But there have been many times, because crafting is not perfect, there's been many times that I'll get to the end and I only have 26. So I'll back it off a little bit and I'll add one here to make sure I have 27. It's very important to have 27 on each side. Each square needs to be blocked, and so I am using a June Taylor cushioned square blocker. But there's a lot of mats out there. I have the link for this one down below, but you need to pin it onto a mat 8 inches square. So each square needs to be pinned 8 inches, and I have been putting my pins every inch along each of the sides. And after we get that done, then we can steam it to get it into shape. So I start by putting a pin in each corner at the 8-inch mark and pin on each side, and then just add a pin all the way around. Okay, I'm just going to use my personal iron set on the steam setting. Steam each one of them for a minute. So I have my board, I have 3 of them on here. So I'm going to steam each one for a minute, come back and hit them for about another 20 seconds. And then when they cool down, I can remove the pins. Once they have cooled down and are dry, just pull off your pins and your square is blocked and ready to attach to make your Afghan. You may want to join your blocks as you go, and I have a diagram on the blog, DIYonthehouse.com, that you can print out. You can put them together in whatever order you want, because I did not want any of the same colors beside each other. So however you choose to put them together, to join them, you'll need a large eye yarn needle. and I am going to join them with the light color, the same color as the second row of the edging on each of your squares. So just cut a piece, roughly a yard long, and we will join it with this thread. And the reason we counted so carefully to make sure there were 27 stitches on each side, that'll make this process really easy. So to start the joining, thread up a couple, maybe 1.5 inches to hide your thread in the last row of stitching. And I'm just going to leave a tail like that. And then I have, following the pattern, I have my 2 pieces. I'm going to fold them wrong sides together, and I'm going to match up the corners, and it is just as simple as going through each from the bottom around to the top, to the bottom, to the top, and do not pull them too tight, just kind of nice and loose, but not too loose. Okay, there you can see the pattern that is going. It just makes it all a nice diagonal little stitch. So go ahead and do your squares that way. When you get to the end, leave your tail long. Don't cut this off, because you then can pick it up with your needle and join the next ones as you get them going. So just leave your tails nice and long, and you can join your squares as you get them done. Once you have sewn all of your squares together, we need to put a border on the entire project. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I am going to use the same color that I joined all the squares with. So in this pattern, it is the light color. And I don't like starting right on a corner, so I'm going to go a few stitches before that. Just insert your hook, draw through your thread, drop your thread, and I'm going to chain 2. So that's going to count as my first half double crochet, and I'm going to do 2 rows all the way around of half double crochet. So that's 1 in the next stitch, loop over, draw through all 3 on the hook, loop over, draw through, yep, there we go, and continue that. And I started near a corner so you could see what I have to do when I get to a corner. There we go. Okay, this is the corner stitch. We're going to put 3 half double crochets in the corner. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going down the other side and just continue a half double crochet all the way around your Afghan. Okay, and by putting those extra stitches in the corner, it lays nice and flat. So when you come around to this side, we're just going to slip stitch in the top of the first chain 2 again, and do a second row and finish it off. It'll just give it a nice solid border.